Alright guys, so Real Man History, the Manosphere. I want to talk about this article here. So let's start. Firefighters in England say 100-hour work weeks to pay bills are a gamble with safety. Okay, so this is a firefighter, Lloyd Akers. He's from Scunthorpe in Lincolnshire. He wonders how his family will get through the winter. Okay, so you say firefighters are taking second jobs and working up to 100 hours a week to make ends meet. Wow. Leading to growing concerns that an increasingly exhausted workforce is resulting in a gamble with public safety. Firefighters across the country told the Observer that the service was at breaking point, with more crew than ever being forced to take jobs such as personal trainers, painters and decorators, or in warehouses. Wages in the fire service are often about 30,000 but can be as low as 23,000. 30,000, is that it? That's pittance, man. To be jumping into, burning buildings and rescuing cats and dogs. That's not, I wouldn't even bother with, but that's the thing. These people are not earning well. They're not earning well. I told you guys, stop working these kind of jobs, man. Stop working these kind of jobs and what they take in as a second job. Personal trainer. First of all, that's like gig work. That's a side job. Painters and decorators. Most people in this economy are gonna do it themselves anyway. Warehouses. Again, we talked about warehouse jobs before. Look at the jobs people are taking, man. This is what happens when you're blue collar. It's not, you need to have a real proper career. Firefighter is supposed to be a career. I don't even see that as a career, man. Supposed to be, right? But it's crap. Look what they're earning, £30,000 a year. For a single man, you're just about getting by. If you've got wife and kids, it's not, how are you gonna afford that? How are you gonna afford childcare? How are you gonna afford everything? Anyway, let's move on, right? When I started a job a few years ago, I had good prospects of being able to buy a house and pay my bills, but with inflation, I'm being priced out of this job. I want to do this job, I want to help people, but I can't afford to have a house, I can't afford to raise a family right now. I'm not asking for much. Okay, so here's the problem, right? This whole thing of I want to help people, okay? First of all, you're using that as a coping mechanism. You're using that as a coping mechanism. The truth is, you don't want to do this job. Let's keep it 100% real. These people working these jobs, they don't want to do this job. They're doing it because that's what they can get. If they could get a job, I made that video about that Natasha Badger. I didn't even make the video, I just posted a video of that Natasha Badger working in LinkedIn in that plush office job. These people would take a plush office job in a heartbeat. They don't want to be jumping into burning buildings. Come on now, stop pretending like you want to do the job. People need to be real with themselves. See, but that's how they get you. That's how they get you. They tell, oh, that's how they get the working class. Oh, just help people. Help people. Be a good man. Be a good Samaritan and help people as a firefighter, yeah, and earn 30 grand a year and be in poverty. Having to work 100, you must be joking. But that's how they get you. That's how they trick you, man. These jobs are just a scam. You're gonna see how it's even worse than what you think it is when I read the rest. But that's what I'm saying. These jobs, why, stop pretending, man. People need to stop pretending that these are good jobs. They say, oh, I'm helping people. No, you gotta be selfish right now. It's dog eat dog world. This is a dog eat dog world at the end of the day. It's a dog eat dog world. You're not gonna ever buy a house. You're not ever gonna, and these guys are gonna lose everything. They're gonna lose everything. A lot of these guys have wife and kids. What do they think's gonna happen? The wife is gonna up and go if she can find a man. You think the wife is not looking? If she can find another man that's, you say you're earning 30K, if she can find a man that's earning 45, 50K, sorry, but it's over for you, man. 30K ain't cutting it. If he's willing to take on a single mother, a woman with kids, it's over for you, Mr. Firefighter. You're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose your wife. You're gonna lose your kids. You're gonna lose everything. You're gonna maybe even off yourself, man. See, I just keep it real. I know some people don't want to hear that, but I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm just keeping it 100% real. These guys who are working these low income jobs, especially the ones who have families, they're gonna lose everything in this economy, bro. I'm keeping it 100% real. They will lose everything. And if they get depressed, they're gonna lose their job as well. And then they're on the streets. And that's a reality. I've been talking about this. Other people don't want to talk about this. But you see, I've been talking about this economy for the past 2.5 years now, since the beginning of the pandemic. I've been talking about this economy and how it's going to be in turmoil. I was talking about this, right? And now you got some of the schmucks on YouTube, the charlatans, are now starting to talk about the recession, which I call depression, right? But the point is that why talk? It's too late to talk. What are people going to do now? Okay, you're a firefighter. What are you going to do? You're going to quit your job? You got no money coming in. You can't quit your job. You need the money. You're just making ends meet, right? You're going to go on strike. I mean, what, people are gonna die? So you're trapped. I mean, you can't go on strike as a firefighter. Otherwise, you become enemy. You become the public enemy number one. Oh, this person died in a burning building because the firefighters were on strike. I mean, this is a problem. See, you're trapped. But it's not just firefighters, it's a whole, all these careers that are earning these kind of salaries, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. You're in trouble. You're in big, big trouble. And it comes down to poor life management. It comes down to not being, uh, educated enough about the economy, which we don't teach in education system. But I knew this was coming. I've been speaking about this. But obviously, my channel is not promoted by YouTube. They rather promote Graham Stephan, who promotes Ponzi schemes like Celsius to make passive income, right? I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people should have switched up in 2020. 2020 was really the last opportunity, maybe 2021, but I just find it so ridiculous when I see people, oh, prepare for the Great Recession or in 2022. It's like, bro, it's too late. It's too late to prepare for most people, especially men with kids. If you got kids, wife, and it's over for you. It's done. So let's continue this. You'd think as an emergency service worker you'd be looked after, but you're just not. They don't give a toss, man. I mean, they don't give a toss. Let's keep it real. They don't give a toss about you. The fire service is already dealing with understaffing. Okay, the numbers have fallen from 20.4% since 2010, while local government funding for fire services has been cut 14% in the past 5 years. Well, I mean, they had Grenfell Tower, which was a big tragedy, and the firefighters did a great job. They did a great job, but I mean, look at what they're earning at the end of the day. But this is why people, I mean, who wants to be, I mean, look at the salaries they're being paid. Of course, it's fallen. 23,000? I mean, what the hell is that? That's not even 2 grand a month. I mean, people are earning pittance, absolute pittance, and you expect people to just accept that? I mean, of course the numbers are fallen. People don't want to go into jobs where it's not lucrative. I mean, look at this, you know. Fire Brigade's union for what would be its first strike in nearly a decade. The union, again, you're going with these union crap. Speculation. Speculation and hope is what it's all about with these people. 2% pay award, right? So let's talk about the union, right? I mean, look, man, you should just quit. You should have quit the job 2 years ago. I'm just keeping it real. Like, the job is paying peanuts. Even if they give you a 10% increase, 30 grand to 33 grand is peanuts. And you're not even going to get, like, the problem with this whole union thing is you're never going to get what you're asking for, right? You're always going to meet somewhere in the middle because eventually you're going to have to come to a compromise. So it's just BS, man. It's I just don't advocate, this union stuff. I mean, People say, oh, we need to do it. We need to make more money. We need to campaign. But at the end of the day, why are you in a career that's not lucrative to begin with? Right? I mean, on top of that, firefighting, I mean, I don't know the health. I mean, surely it does damage your health. I mean, it has to. I mean, and how long can you do this job? I mean, we're supposed to be working until 67. I don't even think the retirement plan is good for firefighters anymore. You're just wasting your time. I mean, but this is all they can do. This is desperation. They're in a desperate position. They're in a desperate position, these firefighters and other jobs. We talked about the Amazon warehouse. Uh, the socialists were celebrating, right? But it already failed. If you haven't seen that video, you can watch it on my channel. Um, these unions are failing, man. Like, let's keep it real. So, okay, they're in dispute with the government over a 2% pay, which the union says would leave firefighters facing a real terms pay cut with inflation at 9.9%. The union says that adjusted for inflation, firefighters have seen their pay cut by between 12%. You see that? See the humiliation they face? We've been talking about humiliation, right? These guys are going backwards in life, bro. They've taken a 12% pay cut between 2009 and 2021 when you take the real numbers adjusted for inflation. These people are dying. They're dying off, you know? I mean, what kind of progress in life is that? So if you've been a firefighter since 2009 to 2021, you're earning less, you're taking a pay cut. We're supposed to be moving forward in our lives, man. I mean, this is one of the worst careers I've ever seen. And it's a life-threatening career as well. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how bad it is for some people out there. But again, man, you got to be serious. And this is why I say you really got to be serious when you choose a career to get into, because a lot of people are just screwed, man. And like I said, if you got a family off of that income, you're toast. You're toast, man. I mean, look at this. Lloyd Akers, an FBU rep. Okay, so that's the union, right? Fire Brigades Union and firefighter in Scunthorpe, said he could only afford to heat 2 rooms of his house last winter, his infant sons and the living room, before the most recent spikes in heating bills. If I'm honest, I feel like a failure of a father that I can't provide for my son. I generally don't know how we're going to get through this winter. Okay, first of all, I'll be honest with you, you are a failure. I don't care what the socialists say and pat you on your back and say, oh, don't worry, you're a great father. No, your job as a man is to be the breadwinner. I don't care about this whole 50-50 stuff. Oh, my wife and this and that, he say here. Or, this other guy says here that despite having 2 jobs and wife being in full-time work, his family has £160 a month for essentials. Listen, man, you're failing, okay? You're failing, bro. Let's keep it 100% real. You are failing. You are failing to be a good father. Being a father means providing for your wife and kids. That's what being a father means. Don't tell me, oh, that's in the past. No, that's from the beginning of time to the end of time. We are men, okay? So you failed, man. I'm sorry, but you failed. You have to go into lucrative careers, and if you choose not to, don't have kids then. Don't have kids. I mean, this is the thing. You're gonna lose everything, man. Like I said, you're gonna end up losing everything. The house, the wife, the kids, the job, and quite possibly you're gonna end up taking your own life. This happens. Look at what happened in the last video. That guy was even worse. He's a single guy. But this point that I'm making here, this ain't a joke. And I tell my audience, if you're new to this channel, we just found this video. This is a single man's channel. We're all single men here. We don't have kids. We're not married. I tell my audience, look, man, you have it good. You have it really good, because a lot of you guys, if you had a family right now, you would either be in depression, you'd have rope yourself, or you'd be, completely, in turmoil right now. The people who are struggling are the people with low income and a wife and kids, more so than the people who are on low income and single. Those people are struggling less. So you you're lucky. I'm lucky. I'm sitting pretty, you know. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm sitting pretty in this economy because I got no expenses. I live cheap, no kids, no childcare, no kids' clothes for school, no new shoes, no any of that extra food to buy. Easy peasy, man. It's easy. You really don't have to do nothing. But for these people, again, it's poor life management. You made the choice. You kind of feel bad for them, but at the same time, you kind of feel like, well, you had two, three kids though. Nobody forced you to do that, right? I think a lot of people think too highly of themselves. Arrogant, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have kids. I'm gonna. Anyway, let's finish this. So it's got to the point now where we don't have any luxury in life at all. We don't have a social life. I don't drink or smoke. I don't have no hobbies. We don't buy clothes for ourselves. We buy the cheapest food we can get. I cut my own hair. We literally cut back on everything, he said. And that's before the latest inflation rise. Okay, let's go into this. Okay. I don't have a social life. I don't drink and smoke. I'm saying me, right? I'm not reading what he says. I don't have a social life. I don't drink or smoke. Hobbies, not really. I buy my own clothes, right? I don't buy the cheapest food I can get. I cut my own hair. Okay. So I live pretty much breadline by my choice. You guys weren't doing that. And that's why you're in the position. That's why you don't have savings, man. So before you say before the latest inflation, no, you should have been doing that before, man. You should have been doing that before. I mean, the problem with a lot of you guys is you get into these relationships, you start spending, splashing the cash, honeymoon, weddings, everything. It's your own fault, man. I mean, we have to keep it real. You chose that position. You chose that, man. I spent the last 12 years pulling in the belt, and I've got no more belt to pull in. I can't take a third job when I've got to go to bed at some point. Exactly. It's over. What can you do? I'm not at the point when I need to use a food bank yet, but if this carries on, I can't guarantee I won't be. Well, you're gonna be at the food bank just like everyone else, you know. Um, so you got this 25-year-old veteran of the London Fire Brigade said the levels of poverty and economic hardship for firefighters at the highest level they've ever been. Again, and it's not just firefighters, you know. Okay, so when he started, a few people had to take on second jobs for some luxuries. Now everyone has to do it to pay basic bills. You see that? He has taken overtime and works as a painter and decorator to make ends meet. Look at that. That's blue collar work. Look at what they're doing, man. Painting and decorating. You know, those people you see, outside with paint on their clothes looking like tramps. You know, you see those people, right? With paint on their clothes. When I was a kid, I used to think, why this guy has paint on his clothes? Is he a tramp? Like, now I realize what they are. They're painter and decorators, right? But that's what you see. I mean, but for me personally, it means working over 100 hours a week. Now, I promote the 100-hour week work, right? 80. I'm not even working 100 hours a week right now, because for me, I already lost that buzz that I had. I'm doing about 80 right now. I'm not doing 100 no more. I can if I want to, but I'll probably start at the end of the year doing 100 again. But between 80 and 100 a week is normal, and I'm not living an extravagant lifestyle. Now, obviously, I promote the 100 hours, but what some people forget, and some idiots, I don't know if they're dumb or they're trolling. I promote 80 to 100 hours in something that's lucrative. These jobs they're doing are not lucrative. I don't recommend them at all. 80 to 100 hours is in a lucrative job, you know, white collar, not blue collar. I don't promote blue collar. Do I say all blue collar is bad? I can't say all, I'm not an expert, but most of it is bad. Most blue collar is a waste of time. You know, painter, decorator, what I want to be walking around with paint on my clothes looking like a tramp? You know, I mean, you know, we're gonna work as you know, you're gonna work, you know, as a fireman, stinking of smoke. I mean, I don't know if they stink of smoke. I don't really know too much about their job, but you know, I mean, come on now, man, this is a joke. You know, you're gonna humiliate yourself to make 30 grand a year. Like, you know, when women are humiliating themselves, yes, but at least they're making more. I mean, you know, I mean, it's like you guys know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the opposite gender humiliating themselves. I don't have to spell it out for you, but you know, the thing is that he's saying the government is willing to gamble with public safety. We're not seen as an insurance policy anymore. We've always got to try and prove our worth, justify our existence. This is what I talk about humiliation, guys. You see it. You see the humiliation. We've always got to prove ourselves. Please, sir, can I have some more Oliver Twist? You know, come on now, man. I mean, when you choose a bad career, man, you're trapped. Some guys don't get how bad it is to choose a bad career. Choosing a bad career is one of the worst decisions you can make in your life. You know, look at this, right? Number of recruits applying for the fire service dropped 80%. Of course, it dropped 80% because there's no money in it. People see it and say, "There's no money in this bullshit." You know, this guy say it's only a matter of time until people die. Yeah, I mean, if another Grenfell Tower hits, what's gonna happen? And there's actually a lot of buildings in the UK that have insufficient cladding, I've heard. If another mistake happens in Grenfell Tower, people are going to die this time, man. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse for this country. The pandemic, the economy, the death of Queen Elizabeth II, you know, Brexit is just getting worse and worse in this country. I can't be out this country soon enough, man. I don't know how people are going to live in the future because this country, you know, is a disaster waiting to happen. A big disaster waiting to happen. I think it was Citibank that said 18% inflation by the beginning of next year. Yeah, man, it's big, big problems. Big, big, big problems. Say ordinary workers should not be made to pay the price for a cost of living crisis. They did not cause it, right? Yeah, that's the position we're in. Yeah, but all that stuff, yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's not about what should is happening. We already know that the poor get punished the hardest when the economy goes down, man. We already know that. The 2% pay insult for firefighters will not be enough to halt the increasing amount of firefighters using food banks and are struggling to pay their mortgage. Well, I mean, part of the problem is a lot of these guys were living before their means before. A lot of these guys should not be married. They should not have kids. I'm sorry, but this idea that everybody should just have kids is stupid. You can get by as a single man on 30 grand a year. But when you put kids into the equation, that's when it gets problematic, man. A lot of you guys, you living above your means. I wouldn't even have kids on what I'm making now, let alone 30 grand. You know, I mean, you guys are just punching above your means. And they say, oh, before firefighters used to have, yeah, I don't care about before. People always love to talk about before. This is a different world we're living in, you know? And some things are better and some things are worse. And I'm sorry, but if you work in what I call loser jobs, okay, and this is a loser job, oh, you can't call firefighters losers. Hey, listen, look at his life. Is this the life of a winner or a loser? Exactly my point. You see, Unreal Man here, the truth of man is free. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you aren't already, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you're informed every time I upload a new video.